Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl. Welcome to my Happy Handcraft Studio. What happened to September? It just got away on me. I was really busy stitching with Abbi Singo, starting back with different quilt guilds. So it was a busy month, but I'm very happy to be back in October to show you what I've been working on, what I've been sewing, what I've been reading, and what my plans are for the rest of October going into November. Yeah, November. All right, so Abbi Singo. I had projects for Abbi Singo, and I filled in my card, and I ended up with one bingo. So that was pretty good. I was happy to have one. I did a lot of stitching. I didn't do the 100 stitches. I just spent the day on whichever project had been called. So I had 6 projects that I was working on. And the project that got the most stitches, 1269, was Kingdom of Books. So that was this one here, Kingdom of Books, and I was able to finish this house here. This is on a 32 count Belfast linen in Mocha. So I really would like to get one more building done in October, but it's already October 20th, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but that would be a perfect success if I did that. So Kingdom of Books. The next project for amount completed was Queen Elizabeth II in Her Coronation Dress. And there she is. On her, I did 996 stitches. So that was a good amount of progress. I'm happy with that. This is on a 28 count Vintage Blue Cashel. This is a pattern by Teresa Gil. All right, next most stitches was Summer Silk Moth. And Summer Silk Moth is a pattern by Diana Bloom Designs, and this is on a 32 count linen. And it was a free pattern from Diana Bloom Designs, so I thought that was wonderful. Looking forward to doing more on that. That one I did 960 stitches. The next piece that I got stitches into was You Are the Boss. So this is what it's going to look like. And I did this one for a lot of the motifs. So if we needed, like the number 4, I outlined 4 boxes. So I'm looking forward to getting to this one. I really love all the colors in it. This is a Lori Holt pattern, and I purchased it at Ujamaa sale in 2023. It included the threads, and I'm doing it on a 32 count white Jobelin, which makes it lovely, lovely to stitch on. All right, and next up, this one had 890 stitches. This one is Santa Brought a Christmas Gift. And here I'm working on the very last house. So for the Abbi Singo challenge, I often would do so many stars or snowflakes for the count. So according to my chart, I was supposed to finish this house November, December. So if I don't get it done this month, for sure I'll get it done in November. And then the last piece that I had was Sahara and Flowers. This is the Frank Lloyd Wright design by Vivster. And I'll show you where I'm at on this. I love this. It's just such a lovely piece to work on. So I worked on this for Abbi Single and did 634 stitches. But since September 21st, this has been my piece for cross-check, cross-stitch. So I follow the Edmonton Oilers, and I've been doing so much for wins, for points, and then I follow Leon Draisaitl. He's a favorite player, and I have points for how many goals and how many assists. So far I have done 2,450 stitches on this. So I do 50 points per goal, and then if Draisaitl scores the goal, I stitch another 100 stitches, and if he has assists, it's 50. So the biggest amount that I've had to stitch for a game so far is 300. And that was because Draisaitl had 2 goals and 2 assists. So that really added to the score. So loving that, and that's something that I'm really hoping that I'll be able to keep up with. There's a lot of hockey games. I was surprised. Didn't seem like there were so many, but about every other day there is a hockey game. But luckily I just decided to do 50 stitches per goal, and I think the most the Oilers have ever scored in a game is 4 goals, so that's 200 stitches. So cross check, cross stitch. All right, so then I started something else that has been taking a lot of my time. So in October, once Abbi Single was done, I focused on 2 projects. Sahara and Flowers for cross check, cross stitch, and I joined the Satsuma Street Stitch Along for Holiday House. And so far I'm just about done 3 parts. So it was 1, 2, 3. I just have a little tree, like this tree over here I need to do. And then the 4th part has been released, and it's kind of a cupola up here. So there are still 3 more parts that I need to complete. And as you can see, these are heavy stitching, and I really want to keep up on it. So I'm really hopeful. So far, I've stitched over 8,000 stitches in this, so 8,276 so far. Yeah, so it releases another one Halloween, October 31st, and then November 14th. It is nice that there's about 2 weeks in between, but even so, it's hard to get all those stitches in. But I love it. I love the bright colors. I'm doing this on a Charlescraft Irish linen in a 28 count even weave. So that's me stitching. So my plan now for October, I'll have to see what WIPGO is. My WIPGO for for October was great. It was like free space and choice. So yeah, I just did what I wanted to, I guess, which was Holiday House. So I will keep up with the SAL, Holiday House SAL. I'll stay up to date with cross-check, cross-stitch. I really want to finish that house in Santa brought a Christmas gift, and I want to finish a house in Kingdom of Books. So that will be a big amount of stitching. And then I have to see what the November WIPGO will be. See what I'm stitching. So that's stitching. Loving it. You know, I'm still stitching every day. I rarely miss a day. It has to be something really unusual for me to miss. So I'm going to show you a few of my quilting sewing things that I've done. First one I'm going to show you is, I wanted a piece for autumn in my house, and it's huge. This is a bench pillow. It was a pattern by Kimberbell, and I'll show you what it looks like in my hallway. Just for reference, it fits 2 bed pillows inside this case. But I like the mixture of applique and some 3D elements, and then it has some applique and quilting. So that was a big pillow. And then last time I showed you I was working on a Merry Mayhem a summer mystery quilt called Twinkle, and that I finished. So love this. This will go to charity for some charity. I'm not sure which one it'll go to at this point. I do have a picture showing it hanging on the back deck. Beautiful sunny fall day. And I've done some other quilting as well. Our local guild has wheelchair quilts that we make, and I made 2 of those. And I've got several others in the top stage where, you know, the tops are pieced, but I haven't yet. Well, I have one that's sandwiched, ready to be quilted, and I have another one ready to be layered. So lots of quilting ahead for me. So I've been knitting. I joined the local fiber club at the library. They meet every Saturday, and we sit for a couple of hours and knit. And I pulled out a sweater that I had started 4 years ago and hadn't worked on all last year. But I thought, okay, this will be a good time to get that sweater worked on. And I took it and I completed 1 sleeve. So all I had to do was 1 sleeve and then the length, more of the length, because I kind of stopped partway. This sleeve was great. I went to pick up stitches for the other sleeve, and I lost stitches, and it was German short rows, and I gave up. I was like, no, this is just, if I had loved the sweater, I probably would have taken it to this group, because we have a master knitter in our group, so she has done the certification at one point you could do for Master of Knitting, and she has that. So I'm sure she could have solved my problem. But I just decided I was done. And so I did. When I took off the bottom needles that it was on, I tried it on and realized it wouldn't have been a comfortable fit anyways. So I was feeling kind of bad, and I needed some emotional support. So I made an emotional support chicken out of the yarn that the sweater was going to be made out of. So this was a hoot to make. It was so much fun, and it really is comforting. It's comforting because all that yarn did not go to waste, and I'm working on a second one right now, and soon there's going to be a whole chicken coop of chickens, which leads me to the next part of my video. This last weekend was Bags, Babies and Beyond, the Ujama Grandma Artisan sale in Calgary to raise money for the Stephen Lewis Foundation. And one of our makers made a whole coop full of chickens. And it really was a hoot to see these people walking around with chickens. Photo evidence. It was really great. And I want to share with you the things that I purchased at this sale. So we have some of the most amazing fiber artisans, I would say. So these are two little knitted people. This is Glinda, and there was a whole collection of witches, and some of them had little cats that were attached to them. Just thought that was so sweet. And then another gnome for my gnome collection. They'll be really happy to have another little friend come over. And then I bought myself a pair of mitts, and they're sensational. It's nice to buy things that you're not going to be knitting anytime soon. And then finally, a shawl. And I just loved this pattern. I just thought it was beautiful, and it feels tremendous. And then for me, the star of the show, the thing that if I wouldn't have been able to get, I would have cried. And that is this little bluebird pincushion. I just love it. I just think it's sensational. So I really look forward to having that in my sewing room. Makes me happy every time I look at it. So lots of wonderful, amazing things at the sale. It's always hard to limit what you purchase, but I was happy with all of those things. All right, then finally, books. All right, so my top book recommendations this video. I've read lots of books again, 6 in September, and I'm on track for another 6 in October. Having books on my phone for audiobooks and on CD in my car and in my sewing room really increases the number of books that I manage in a month. And there's been so many really good ones. I'm really pleased. So the first book I'm going to talk about is called Clock Dance, and this is by Ann Tyler. I love Ann Tyler because she always writes these books about people who make a new life, basically. And this one follows that idea. It's about Willa Drake, and she's, it follows her life from when she was a young child in a home with a mother who was a bit dysfunctional, I would say, through for a first marriage, motherhood, second marriage. And then what happens in this book is she gets a call from the neighbor of her son's ex-partner who lives, hundreds of miles away, and tells her that the woman's been shot and her daughter needs someone to take care of her while her mother's in the hospital recovering. Well, Willa's not related to this young girl at all, but decides to fly to Baltimore from Phoenix, Arizona, to look after this little girl. And while she's there, she finds a community, and it was a great story. Sometimes we have family, but it's our neighbors, our friends who really become our chosen family. The next one, same kind of theme, was called The Garden of Small Beginnings. And in this case, a young widow, Lillian, she's a single mother of 2 little girls, joins a gardening class because she's going to be illustrating a book on plants, and it was decided that this would be a really good course for her to take to understand more about plants. And so she goes, and a relationship develops between the people in this class. It is a wonderful book. Read it in the late winter, early spring, like February, March. It'll just get you ready for spring. In between chapters, there are different tips on gardening, and these tips are kind of tongue-in-cheek, like they're great. The next book was called Don't Let Them In. This is a psychological thriller by Teresa Gil. Not violent. It is more of a psychological thing, but it's something that could happen to anyone, and if you would read it, you'd understand. Nina loses her husband mysteriously. His death is not really explainable. And an old friend of his, Nick, comes into her life and is very sympathetic, and they soon have a romantic relationship. But her daughter doesn't like this guy. Like she gets those spidey feelings. At the same time, Martha, young mom with a small child, is suspicious of her own husband's frequent travel, and the fact that when he's away, she cannot connect with him. Like when her child gets really ill and she can't get a hold of her husband. So all of these different lives come together in Don't Let Him In. And then finally, a book I just loved. It could be one of my best reads of 2025, and that is The Correspondent. And this is a brand new novel, 2025, by Virginia Evans. And it's about a 73-year-old retired lawyer named Sybil Van Antwerp, whose life revolves around writing notes and letters to family, friends, doctors, neighbors, call center operators. Like, it's just really charming. And the author just did an amazing job of telling this woman's life story and future plans, I guess, through a series of letters. It was great. Now, this was an audiobook for me. I would be really curious to see this in print, to see if the different correspondence looks different. Like, what does the email look like to the man that she started to correspond with at the call center? What does it look like if it's going to her doctor? What does it look like if it's going to her friend or her daughter? So it's one that I think I might try to borrow again, just to see what the book looks like. So there are 4 really good books for you to think about. If you see them somewhere in your library on a bookshelf, I suggest you take a look at them. All right, everyone. That was great. Always love visiting with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.